What if I told you that our entire world, everything we know and rely on, could completely collapse in just 24 hours? I'm not talking about an asteroid strike or a global war. I'm talking about something much closer to home, something you're using right this very second: the internet. Hello and welcome back to FactDose, the place where facts are always stranger than fiction. Think about it. Right now as you're watching this video, trillions of gigabytes of data are zipping across the globe. Airplanes are navigating through the clouds, hospitals are saving lives, global markets are trading trillions of dollars, and entire governments are functioning all powered by this invisible web that connects us all. It's the central nervous system of our modern civilization. But what if tomorrow morning you wake up and it's all gone, completely vanished? No Wi-Fi signal, no mobile data, no Google to answer your questions, no social media to connect with friends, no streaming services to entertain you. Nothing. A complete digital blackout. It sounds like a sci-fi movie, but the reality is far more terrifying than you can imagine. Stay with me, because we're about to simulate the first 24 hours without the internet. And I promise you, by the end of this, you'll never look at your Wi-Fi router the same way again. Let's start with the first hour. You wake up, and your smart alarm didn't go off because it couldn't sync. Annoying, but not a big deal, right? You reach for your phone to check the news, scroll through social media, or reply to a few messages, but there's no connection.
Ow.
You try rebooting your router, switching your phone on and off. Still nothing. You might think it's just a local outage. But then you look outside, and you notice your neighbors looking just as confused, staring at their silent devices. The silence is the first thing you'd notice. Constant hum of notifications, pings, and updates is gone. Within just a few hours, the first real crisis hits: communication. Right now, you can video call someone on the other side of the planet instantly. Without the internet, that capability evaporates. Landlines might still work for a bit, but the networks would be instantly overwhelmed with panicked calls. International communication would cease to exist. Businesses would go silent. Global supply chains would be blind. Schools and universities would shut their doors. Families spread across different cities or countries would be completely cut off from one another, with no way of knowing if their loved ones are safe. Panic would start to simmer. Let's talk about money. This is where things get truly scary. Most of our money today isn't physical cash in a vault. It's digital information, ones and zeros, stored on servers around the world. In a world without the internet, the entire financial system grinds to a halt. ATMs would become useless bricks of metal. Online banking would be a distant memory. Your credit and debit cards would be just pieces of plastic. You can't pay for anything digitally. How do you buy food? How do you get fuel for your car? How do you purchase essential medicine? A few people with physical cash would be the new kings, but for how long? Stores would be forced to close, unable to process payments or even track their inventory. The economy would freeze, and widespread chaos would start to spread through the streets. By hour 6, the crisis escalates to a matter of life and death. Let's look at our hospitals. Modern healthcare is deeply intertwined with the internet. Patient records, medical histories, allergy information, it's all stored digitally in the cloud. Diagnostic machines like MRI and CT scanners rely on networks to send and receive images. Doctors consult with specialists across the globe via the internet. Even robotic surgery, a marvel of modern medicine, becomes impossible. Without access to this critical information and technology, doctors would be flying blind. You'd have to rely on guesswork and outdated paper records, if they can even be found. The risk of medical errors would skyrocket. Lives that could have been saved would be lost, but it gets even worse. Transportation, the lifeblood of our society, would collapse. Think about air travel. Pilots rely on the internet for real-time weather updates, flight path adjustments, and constant communication with air traffic control. Without it, the entire global fleet of airplanes would be grounded. That's over 100,000 flights a day, just gone. Trains would stop running, as their signaling and scheduling systems fail. Even on the ground, chaos would erupt. Traffic lights in many major cities are centrally controlled and optimized via the internet. Without that system, you'd have gridlock on an unimaginable scale. No one could get anywhere. Emergency services, ambulances, fire trucks, police would be stuck, unable to reach those in desperate need. By the 12-hour mark, the world as we know it would be unrecognizable. But we're only halfway there. The biggest shockwave is yet to come. the total implosion of the global economy. Stock markets, which are entirely digital, would crash to zero instantly. Companies whose entire existence is based on the internet, Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, would see their multi-trillion-dollar valuations evaporate in minutes. But it's not just tech giants. Every modern company relies on the internet for logistics, sales, marketing, and operations. Millions, perhaps billions of people would lose their jobs overnight. The global economy, a complex machine built over decades, would be completely and utterly paralyzed. And by the end of just 24 hours, the thin veneer of civilization would be stripped away. Supermarkets, unable to restock, would have their shelves picked clean. People would be fighting for the last remaining scraps of food, water, and essential supplies. With no reliable news sources, misinformation and fear would spread like wildfire through word of mouth. Rumors would become fact, and paranoia would rule. The world would be on the brink of a total breakdown, a return to a dark age, all because the invisible network that held it together suddenly vanished. Now, here's the most shocking part. This isn't just a thought experiment. It's not impossible. Cybersecurity experts and scientists warn us that a sufficiently advanced global cyber attack, a catastrophic solar flare like the Carrington event of 1859, or a cascading global technical failure could actually wipe out the internet, even if only temporarily. Our dependence has made us incredibly efficient, but also incredibly vulnerable. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is this: are we too dependent on the internet? We built a magnificent, glittering civilization on a foundation that could disappear in the blink of an eye. 'Cause, if it ever does, our modern world might just disappear with it. If you found this video shocking, informative, or eye-opening, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And make sure to subscribe to FactDose for more mind-blowing deep dives into the world around us. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. Now I want to hear from you. Be honest. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and the internet was gone? Let me know in the comments below. This is FactDose. Stay informed.